Stop everything and face the single most painful question of your life. Why do some people effortlessly seize everything they desire, while you grapple with the same debilitating problems year after painful year? The answer is a brutal psychological truth. Your perceived weaknesses are not just minor character flaws. They are silent, systemic destroyers, actively working to sabotage your ambition, your potential, and your future. Most people commit the fatal error of treating weakness as a fixed personality trait. Wrong. Weakness is a choice, a chronic, self-imposed decision. And every single day you choose to tolerate that weakness, you are consciously choosing to remain disarmed and powerless. Machiavelli grasped a dark principle that modern society desperately tries to obscure. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. The world is not moved by the fragile currency of good intentions. It is moved only by unyielding strength, calculated strategy, and undeniable results. Today, I am going to show you exactly how to surgically identify the hidden weaknesses that are currently sabotaging your life and how to eliminate them entirely before they destroy everything you are striving to build. But first, internalize this command. What if every lesson you were taught about being nice, patient, and overly accommodating was intentionally designed to keep you predictable and controllable? Your path to power begins with the destruction of your internal limitations. Let's get started. Number 1. Weakness is programmed, not natural. Let us begin with a necessary, self-shattering truth. Weakness is not an innate trait you were born with. It is a meticulous psychological program installed in your mind from childhood. This wasn't education, it was conditioning. Its ultimate purpose was to create compliant, predictable citizens who would never challenge the prevailing system. This systemic programming forces you to always say sorry, even when you are not at fault. It mandates self-abnegation, compelling you to perpetually prioritize everyone else's fragile needs before your own. You are taught silence, believing you must never stand up for yourself because confrontation is inherently rude. And finally, it installs guilt, making you feel profound shame for wanting more success or wealth than others possess. This entire toxic curriculum is designed specifically to keep you predictable and manageable. Think about the insidious way this programming betrays you every single day. You commit a digital hijack by checking your phone first thing in the morning, allowing other people's urgent priorities to seize control of your thoughts before you've even defined your own. You fall into the obligation trap by saying yes to commitments you deeply do not want because saying no feels uncomfortable, even though every yes to an unwanted obligation is a definitive no to your own growth. You engage in success suppression, actively downplaying your own achievements because you fear making others feel bad, a perverse act of self-punishment for daring to succeed. And through costly avoidance, you allow small problems to fester and grow into major crises, simply to maintain a fragile, temporary peace. Machiavelli warned against being unprepared for the world's true nature. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. You have been systematically trained to be neither the lion nor the fox. You have been trained to be prey. Every time you avoid confrontation, every time you accept less than you deserve, and every time you make excuses for people who fail to respect you, you are actively reinforcing this destructive program. The most dangerous element of this conditioning is the insidious idea that choosing yourself is selfish, that having high standards is mean, and that wanting more is greedy. The people who installed these rules never followed them to achieve their own success. The powerful truth is, once you identify the psychological programming, you gain the power to delete it. Start questioning every assumption you hold about being polite, Ask yourself with radical honesty, is this belief serving my strategic goals, or is it keeping me safely, predictably small? As you grow stronger and people complain that you are changing, recognize that noise for what it truly is, a compliment, not a criticism. Number 2, weakness is an open target. Let me deliver a psychological truth that may shock you into action. In the real world of strategic maneuvering, there are only 2 categories of people. There are those who seize what they desire, and those who are passively left with the remnants and the scraps. Your perceived weaknesses are not merely minor personal flaws. They function as a giant flashing neon sign advertising to everyone around you. This person is available for manipulation and exploitation. Consider the undeniable dynamics of your workplace. Who receives the promotions? Is it truly the person who works the longest hours in silence, hoping someone notices? Or is it the strategic individual who understands how to visibly position themselves and make their contributions absolutely undeniable? Think about your relationships. Who wields the true power? The person who cares so desperately they accept any treatment out of fear of being alone, or the person who is emotionally capable of walking away because they know and demand their worth be respected? The psychological calculus of controllability. When you broadcast signals of weakness, a predictable sequence begins. People initiate constant boundary testing. They push a little further each time, meticulously tracking how much psychological abuse you will tolerate. Your opinions are dismissed in meetings because everyone knows you lack the conviction to fight back. Your time is treated as less valuable than everyone else's because you failed to protect it. Your goals are openly mocked or minimized because people sense you won't defend them with the necessary conviction. The harsh, unforgiving reality is that people do not respect what they can easily control. They reserve their respect only for what they strategically cannot. Machiavelli encapsulated this choice with brutal finality. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. This is not an instruction to be cruel. It is a strategic imperative to become someone whose boundaries are uncrossable without immediate, precise consequences. Being feared in this context does not mean people are afraid of physical harm. It means they respect your standards and know with absolute certainty that you will enforce them. It means they think twice before disrespecting your time. It means they consider your inevitable reaction before crossing any line. To internalize the cost, picture this scenario. A new project is assigned at work. A colleague, sensing your compliance, immediately dumps the tedious, low-credit tasks onto your desk while claiming the high-visibility components. The weak response is to accept the task, rationalize the behavior, and simply work harder in silence, thus cementing your role as the team's resource sponge. The strategic response is immediate and calm. You clearly and professionally state that you can handle one component, but cannot accept the entire low-value workload, offering a measured counterproposal that protects your time. When you display weakness, you are not just harming your self-esteem. You are actively training others to treat you poorly. Every time you accept disrespect, you are teaching people that violating your space has no personal cost to them. Your weakness becomes their golden opportunity. Your hesitation becomes their strategic advantage. Your fear becomes their leverage over you. And here is the worst part. Once people learn they can manipulate you, they secretly despise that weakness entirely, even while they benefit from it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose respect over approval, strength over comfort. Number 3, the comfort trap. The architect of weakness. Comfort is not a reward, it is the silent, insidious enemy of greatness. The vast majority of people choose the safe path, the predictable routine, the path where they are never forced to confront their fears. And that calculated avoidance is precisely why they remain perpetually stuck in lives that fail to satisfy their potential. Comfort breeds profound weakness because it eliminates the essential need for growth. When every day is easy and predictable, you never develop the mental and psychological muscles required for life's inevitable, real challenges. Look around you. How many people in your immediate circle are living the exact same, static life they were living 5 years ago? Same job, same complaints, same paralyzing excuses, same self-imposed limitations. That is not accident. That is the predictable, corrosive cost of comfort. The true price of choosing easy, the cost of comfort. Here is the strategic price comfort ruthlessly exacts. Your potential dies quietly. Your monumental ambitions do not expire dramatically in one grand failure. They die quietly. One comfortable choice, one easy evening, one postponed action at a time. Furthermore, your skills deteriorate in comfort. Just like physical muscles, your mental and strategic muscles require constant resistance to stay strong. And when you actively avoid challenging situations, you become demonstrably less capable of handling them. As a direct result, confidence shrinks. Real, durable confidence is forged by successfully executing difficult things. When your routine consists only of easy tasks, you begin to doubt your own capacity to handle anything that involves risk. Finally, opportunities vanish. The best, most transformative opportunities are always packaged with risk and uncertainty, and people who prioritize avoiding discomfort miss the exact chances that could elevate and transform their lives. Machiavelli warned that patterns repeat. Whoever wishes to foresee the future must consult the past, for human events ever resemble those of preceding times. The historical pattern is fixed. Those who avoid discomfort today create massive structural pain for themselves tomorrow. This avoidance has a measurable cost. The relational cost is seen when the individual who perpetually avoids difficult, honest conversations ends up in a destructive relationship that slowly erodes their self-respect and sanity. The professional cost is evident when the person who avoids career risks and difficult skill acquisition ends up watching younger, hungrier competitors get promoted effortlessly past them. And the existential cost is borne by the person who avoids emotional and psychological discomfort, ending up living a life that feels technically safe but profoundly empty. Every successful person you admire shares one principle. They learned to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. They took the call that triggered anxiety. They initiated the difficult conversation. They made the strategic move everyone else labeled as risky. While others were choosing comfort, they were consciously choosing growth. The more you embrace discomfort in service of your goals, the more genuinely comfortable your life actually becomes, because you develop the confidence and the skills to handle whatever strategic storm life throws at you. You choose effectiveness over ease. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I embrace discomfort as the price of my evolution. Number 4. Exposing the 4 lies that kill power. We must surgically expose the 4 most pervasive lies that are currently maintaining your state of powerlessness. These are not just casual falsehoods. They are psychological chains designed to keep you passive, waiting, and perpetually dependent on external forces for your success. Lie number 1. Good things come to those who wait. The truth. Good things come only to those who take decisive action. This lie promotes passivity and inaction. While you are patiently waiting for the perfect moment or the right time, someone else who operates on a strategy of decisive action is taking the opportunity that should have been yours. The cost is lost leverage and stagnation. Let's say you wait 3 months to launch a business idea until you have the perfect website. Meanwhile, a competitor launches a functional, messy version immediately, captures the market, and proves the concept viable. Your waiting did not increase the quality of your launch. It only guaranteed your failure to be first. Lie number 2. Everyone deserves respect. The truth. Respect is a high-value currency that must be earned, not automatically given. When you give respect freely and unconditionally to people who have not demonstrated character, boundaries, or competence, you drastically devalue your own worth and confuse your environment. You train others to believe that respect is cheap and requires no effort, making them unwilling to respect you when it truly matters. The strategist is selective with respect, granting it only to those who prove their value and commitment. Picture it. You maintain a friendship with a person who consistently mocks your goals and cancels plans last minute. Your decision to keep treating them with respect signals that their behavior is acceptable. You are investing valuable emotional currency into a relationship that is net negative, thereby teaching them that disrespecting you has zero cost. Lie number 3. Just be yourself, and people will like you. The truth. The right version of yourself will inevitably make some people deeply uncomfortable, and that discomfort is a necessary indicator that you are on the right path. This lie promotes a false self, the version of you that is perpetually agreeable and designed to please the largest number of people. This version attracts weak, passive, and exploitative individuals. The sovereign version of yourself is uncompromising and boundary-enforcing. Let's say you refuse to enforce a necessary boundary at work because you want to be liked by your team. You gain temporary popularity but lose long-term authority. You attract people who rely on your weakness and repel capable people who seek a strong, dependable leader. Lie number 4. Everything happens for a reason. The truth. This is the ultimate victim mentality and a destructive spiritual anesthetic. Things happen primarily because of the decisions you make and the actions you take, or fail to take. This lie encourages passivity by outsourcing responsibility to fate or the universe, convincing you that your effort is irrelevant. The strategist knows that effort, preparation, and intention are the primary drivers of all outcomes. Suppose you experience a professional setback and rationalize it as bad timing or fate. This prevents you from conducting a critical analysis of your poor strategic choices, thus guaranteeing you will repeat the exact same errors indefinitely. Machiavelli understood that the masses judge superficiality. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Stop broadcasting an image of weakness by believing these paralyzing lies. Each one serves the singular purpose of keeping you passive, waiting, and psychologically dependent. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I reject comfortable lies and embrace necessary action. Number 5. Replace emotion with calculated logic. Here is precisely where most men compromise their potential. They execute emotional decisions and then waste energy attempting to retroactively justify them with logic. The most successful strategists operate from the inverse position. They make logical decisions first, and then methodically manage their emotions around those unwavering decisions. When someone launches a disrespect against you, your primitive emotion screams, "Get angry!" Retaliate. Your superior strategic calculation, however, must immediately ask, what measured response will best serve my long-term, non-negotiable interests? When a risky opportunity presents itself, your emotion screams, "What if I fail?" Your calculation must instantly pivot to defining the actual risk-to-reward ratio. When an adversary attempts manipulation, your emotion might tempt you with, "Maybe they're right." Your calculation must demand, what specific resource or leverage are they attempting to extract from me? The destruction of emotional reflex. The destruction of the emotional reflex is a process that systematically destroys your life by promoting reflex over strategy. This happens because you engage in automatic reaction. You react instead of deliberately responding. Reactions are automatic, predictable, and usually counterproductive. while responses are deliberate and meticulously strategic. This reflex causes short-term myopia. You make choices based on how you feel in the fleeting moment, not on what will serve your highest goals in the long term. Remember, your feelings change hourly, but the consequences of your decisions last for years. As a result, you become a predictable vulnerability. When people know exactly how you will react emotionally, they can surgically manipulate those reactions to extract what they want from you. Furthermore, this leads to wasted energy, as emotion makes everything feel urgent and important, even when it is neither, causing you to waste vital energy on battles that hold zero strategic value. Machiavelli defined the separation between the competent and the compromised. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The profound difference is that the wise man executes calculation first, then acts. The fool reacts first, then inevitably suffers the consequences. The surgical response. This law does not require you to become cold or heartless. It demands that you utilize your emotions as information, not as your decision-making system. Your emotions tell you what matters to you. Your calculation tells you how to strategically acquire it. For instance, in confronting disrespect, your emotion tells you someone's behavior is unacceptable, but your calculation tells you the most effective, proportional method to address it without escalating conflict. Most people react with anger, escalating conflicts instead of resolving them. When evaluating opportunity, your emotion tells you an opportunity excites you and makes you feel validated, but your calculation forces you to analyze the risk and the necessary commitment, ensuring it is genuinely worth pursuing rather than just a boost to your ego. In ending misery, your emotion tells you that leaving a destructive relationship is terrifying, but your calculation, operating on clear data, shows you that staying guarantees continued misery, while leaving opens the door to a superior, inevitable future. The person who masters this discipline does not let their feelings drive their most critical decisions, and, as a result, they cease getting the same frustrating, mediocre results. In every confrontation, you must ask, what outcome do I actually want here? How will this choice affect my position 6 months from now? This calculated perspective ensures you are always leading the situation, never merely reacting to it. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I am the master of my emotions, not their slave. Number 6. Strategic detachment, the weapon against predictability. Here is a psychological principle that will fundamentally alter your standing in the world. The precise moment you become too attached to any single outcome, you irrevocably surrender your power to influence that outcome. Why is this dynamic so immutable? Because attachment makes you fatally predictable, and predictable people are easily navigated around and manipulated. When you desperately need someone's approval, they possess ultimate psychological control over you. When you desperately need a specific job, the employer has all the leverage to dictate the terms. When you desperately need a relationship to survive, the other person knows they can dispense poor treatment without facing any consequence whatsoever. Strategic detachment is the mastery of wanting the best, high-value outcome while simultaneously being fully prepared, mentally and logistically, for every other possible outcome. The law of alternatives. Machiavelli understood that vulnerability is a structural weakness that must be eliminated. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. This statement, often misunderstood as a call for faithlessness, is actually a mandate for strategic agility. It means you must always operate from a position of strength, ensuring your survival is not contingent upon anyone else's fickle commitment. You must relentlessly build and maintain alternatives. Never, under any circumstance, allow yourself to be placed in a position where one single external decision, one yes or no, can entirely demolish your entire strategic plan. Always have Plan B, Plan C, and Plan D operational. Consider a high-stakes negotiation for a critical resource or contract. The attached person walks into the room with only one viable outcome, revealing their desperation through compromise and concession. The adversary, sensing this urgent need, extracts maximum value while giving minimal returns. The detached strategist walks in, having already secured 2 alternative deals or partners. When the adversary senses your willingness to walk away because you have visibly reduced the catastrophic cost of no, your leverage is absolute. You negotiate from a position of choice, not desperation. When you are not desperate, you make superior, more rational decisions. When you eliminate neediness, people instinctively respect your boundaries and competence more deeply. When you are detached from the singular outcome, you are emotionally liberated to take the precise, necessary actions that actually create the outcomes you want. Your peace should be an internal constant, impervious to the external chaos of approval or failure. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My peace comes from within, not from external validation. Number 7. Become the consequence. This is the ultimate, final lesson, and it is the most vital one. You must stop explaining yourself to people who are determined to misunderstand you. Cease justifying your critical decisions to individuals who will never have to live with the consequences of your choices. Stop apologizing for taking up necessary space in a world that desperately needs the unique value you have to offer. You are not here to make everyone comfortable with the fact of your success. You are not here to shrink your ambition so that others can feel bigger or more secure. You are not here to apologize for demanding more from your life and your potential. Machiavelli defined the separation between the essential and the superficial. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Your intrinsic value is not derived from what external forces or people think of you. It is derived solely from the undeniable efficacy of what you do with the time and talent you have been given. The embodiment of strength. Your strategic goal is to become the consequence that others must now deal with. You achieve this not through aggression or brute force, but through the undeniable quiet reality of the sovereign individual you have chosen to become. You become the person who doesn't need to announce their power. Everyone can feel the shift in gravity when you enter the room. You become the person who doesn't need to prove their worth. Your results, your competence, and your discipline speak for themselves. You become the person who doesn't need to defend their choices. Your clear, consistent success is your only necessary defense. When you genuinely embody strength, you don't have to perform strength. When you truly embody confidence, you don't have to convince anyone you're confident. When you truly embody success, you don't have to waste energy pleading for validation. You become the consequence, the inevitable force that others must adapt to. Today, you systematically discovered that weakness is not merely a personality trait, it is a devastating strategic disadvantage that infects every area of your life. You expose the programming society uses to keep you controllable. You embraced the truth that comfort is the primary enemy of all growth. You surgically replaced paralyzing emotional reactions with cold, strategic calculation. You mastered the power of detachment and understood why desperation destroys leverage. And finally, you learned to become the consequence, the decisive individual whose presence fundamentally alters the energy of every room they choose to enter. This process is not about descending into cruelty. It is about ascending to a state of strength, strategic vision, and unshakable clarity in the pursuit of the life you fundamentally deserve. If this video has helped you see your weaknesses not as failures, but as targets for elimination, hit that like button and subscribe for more truths that transform lives. Remember, your weakness is not your identity. It is merely a habit you now possess the power to change. Start today.